Alright people, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you'll know when I upload the next video and you'll be supporting my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Every time I upload a new video, I'll be tweeting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is UX and this is the Nations Review by channel ssethtzeentach, the finest Austro-Hungarian matriarchism of the early 2000s. Okay, this game is from 2001, the Nations. Okay, never heard of it, so I guess it's gonna be fun. Every ssethtzeentach video, every game that he reviews has some X factor to it, let's just say, has some weird quirk to it. It's always fun to watch, so let's watch it. Remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, check out the other reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the cards, and yeah, let's do this one. Wait a second, and there we go.
Hey people, Seth here. Imagine living in a world much like our own, but a horrific distortion, where men are systematically oppressed, objectified, and enslaved, where the only two options in life are going to the forest to acquire berries and going to the gym to acquire a toned physique. Such a dystopia can be experienced in The Nations, which is actually the second game in a series. In German, it's called Die Volk 2, but in English, we don't use numbers in our game titles. Numbers are for confusing the taxpayer. This game was released, developed, and published in Austria 2001. Today, I'll be covering games my mom likes in the event that she finds this channel and finds out that I am, in fact, not working as a stockbroker. At this point, the lie is so deep that it's no longer a lie. I've had to learn about stock options to live this double life, and I have to trade shit coins to sell the fiction. To get started, you need a time machine. This game doesn't run on Windows 10. It's too old. So I had to take a laptop that's nearly 10 years old and run it from there. It might look scuffed, and that's because it is. To keep it working, I ripped out the thermal sensor.
Oh my god.
It might look scuffed, and that's because it is.
Windows 7, it's not that old. Intel Pentium, okay, that is old. God damn. Yeah, so, you know, sometimes I want to play some old game, but there are always these issues, like it won't run on Windows 10. Hell, it won't run on Windows 7 lots of times, right? You need XP Vista or something like that. But I don't know, certain games like, you know, whenever GOG or anything, websites like that take a game and put it on sale, usually they patch it for the latest, you know, Windows, so that would be alright.
To keep it working, I ripped out the thermal sensor, which means if I flip it over, I can reliably cook eggs on the surface. Upon launching the game, you'll notice they don't make menus like they used to. Just look at this shit. We've got head tracking, warm colors, hand-drawn art for every mission. The dude even smiles if you put your mouse over him, and he gets sad if you try to turn off the game. And guess what? If you leave a game unattended, it'll scare the shit out of you, because you'll hear buzzing from the other room and Mr. P. Pimon going apeshit on every fly that crosses the screen. There's even a scorecard to check bug fatalities against the number of times he missed. To start playing, you need to pick a campaign. There's 2 for each race, one for the original and one for the gold edition of the game. Now, let's talk about race. There's 3 of them: the Pimons, the Sajikis, and the Amazons. Amazons are humans, but instead, we live in a matriarchy. Only girls can own property, and men are nothing but slabs of meat to satisfy the female gaze. Pimons are obese, lazy alcoholics whose only desires are to eat, drink, and avoid responsibility. To them, the prospect of an honest day's work is just as horrific as sobriety. And you would understand too when you see a Pimon female. Horrendous at the front, but holy shit, business at the back.
So I guess any human at the 21st century, God, I have to work, alright. I guess that's gonna buy me a beer.
Heard the cliche of "that's no ass, it's a dump truck," but in this case, that's no dump truck. It's an international cargo freighter, and the Sajikis are actual, literal bugmen who plan to backstab you the first chance they get. Luckily, they're completely retarded and will often betray each other before they manage to betray you. Gameplay is a bit unorthodox. You can't control your citizens directly, you can only influence them in the right direction. The life cycle of an average citizen is very intense. One day, you're born. The next, you're a teenager that's ready to enter the labor force, which operates on a
Okay, wait a minute. So we can directly control like any other game, right? Any other strategy game. I like that element because it always felt weird to me that whenever we play games like this, we can control every single person. I mean, I get it as a as a game point, like okay, you can control everything, but usually I go for immersion. Like I'm a one singular person. Who am I? Am I a king? Am I a monarch? Sure. Then I can't really control people. I can just influence them. So I like this element.
A planned economy. The moment you join the labor force, you move into your government-assigned flat and get married to your government-assigned girlfriend. The day after that, you give birth to another two kids and repeat the cycle. You can tell Austrians made this game because they're aliens that consider 6 p.m. as bedtime, which is the time each game day ends and proceeds to the next. As your settlement expands and your population explodes, you're going to need better technology. To get that, you're going to have to build a laboratory. Once you do, every scientist in the free market is going to break down your door looking for a job. This game contains a highly realistic depiction of academic research. Bachelor students are highly affordable, yet highly incompetent. While masters and PhDs research much faster, they also demand a higher salary. But ironically, the faster they work, the faster I'm gonna fire them. Each mission, your civilization has an evolution level, of which there are three, which I like to call the village, the city, and the state. Advancing in evolution gives you more technology, but also
So I guess master's degree and PhDs were stupid people, right? And bachelors were smart ones. Like, okay, if I do this fast, if I be competent, I'll be fired. I'm gonna take my time then. What else is he gonna do? Research on his own?
gives you more responsibilities. For example, Evolution Level 2 gives you bread, but also gives your citizens a hunger for pastries. And if you can't provide their daily croissant, then guess what? They're going to turn into hardened criminals, and they're going to get their baked goods one way or another. They also develop a need for God,
croissant.
or rather, God develops a need for them. Because, after evolving, if you don't send a daily prayer, God is going to send you a bubonic plague. The
What?
highest evolution level comes with the highest demands. At this point, every family requires multiple luxury goods each day, or they have a mental breakdown. These are unique for each race, confirming the belief that the only people who consume energy drinks are teenagers and bugmen. The Sajiki have a high demand for monster energy, which is, of course, made from snake poison. In contrast, the Pimons ferment mushrooms into alcohol, and the Amazons condense berries into pies. There's not that much more to it. You sit back, relax, and set the game speed to turbo. If I'm very honest, the campaigns aren't very difficult. That is, until you get to combat. Military works very similar to research, except this game borrows heavily from the Democratic Republic of Congo School of Conflict. In other words, you don't have a standing army, as per se. Instead, you hire PMCs and mercenaries who will fight, die, and commit war crimes for a daily salary. And since they don't trust the stability of your printed, hyperinflated fiat currency, they only take payment in bars of solid gold. Or sausages, and pastries, and really whatever else you offer them. Honestly, they'll take anything. Military are the only units you can directly control, and usually victory is a question of who...
Yeah, I guess they saw Carthage and they're like, okay, we're gonna do what they used to do. Just buy the army, not have one. I like that element. So, so far you don't have to, I guess, worry about your own army. Just hire them whenever time comes, and you just have to worry about your economy and money, how much money you have.
Who has the most gold to fund the largest private military? So, how do you make the most gold? Well, by trading. Unfortunately, in this game, the commodity market is entirely monopolized. By who, do you ask? By the same people who monopolized childbirth. Storks. I'm not even joking, this is the actual lore of the game. Also known as the Flying Merchants, they control the...
What the fuck? You are kidding me.
People who monopolized childbirth. Storks. I'm not
Yeah, sorry to have to inform you that one wood supply have been infested by malicious woodworms.
even joking, this is the actual lore of the game. Also known as the Flying Merchants, they control the entirety of trade. So whether you sign a trade contract with another player or sign with a flying merchant directly, it doesn't really matter because you still depend on their aircraft for transport.
A kid plays this game and goes to his father like, "You are lying. You said when mommy and when mommy and daddy love each other. That's all bullshit. Stocks are the real thing. I played the game. I know."
and they directly fix the prices. So you try to trade as much volume as you can for diminishing returns, get as much gold as you can, and then pray to God, and in return, he's going to double your gold. And then you're going to commit an atrocity. This game isn't that deep, but it's charming, and it's made with love. The music has some real banger tracks in there, the dialogue is hilarious, and the sprite work, oh god, it's gorgeous. As a kid, I never understood the appeal of just watching shit unfold. But now, I get it. I want to see, feel, and share in the struggles of each of my individual bugmen. From a little baby larva, to a teenager, to an unemployed crackhead because I forgot to send them to school. Because in this game, the state is directly responsible if you become a fisherman or you end up shooting meth into your arms. Because, as a good friend once told me, smoking meth is for the rich. We're not rich. We're middle class. I did hear a
I'm not gonna lie, this is way too complex than I would have thought otherwise, right? All the things you can do, all the people you can influence in a different way. This is incredible.
critique of this game, however, and I will address it. Here it goes. Population control, or rather, the lack of it. You see, if you keep building, your population keeps expanding infinitely and exponentially until you can no longer sustain yourself. But I found the answer to that. To understand it, you need to understand that every citizen has motivation, which is the sum of positive and negative events they've experienced that day. And to clarify, in Amazon society, that only applies to women. Men don't even have an emotion tracker. That's how secondary our role is in society. We only live, get ripped, and die. Wild animals don't even attack us because
emotions are emotions. Get to the gym. Who gives a fuck about you, man?
because that requires us to have the capacity to feel upset about such an event. In fact, men only have two moods. One, pick berries, and two, look for wife. But I digress. If motivation drops too low, that citizen either becomes a criminal or leaves the city altogether. This is important, because earlier, I made a mistake. There's 3 evolutionary levels to civilization, but in reality, they are the village, the city, and the police state. Because in a game without contraceptives and reproductive policy, the only means of population control is to arrest everyone. We don't
I was gonna say this is the nations, India nations, right, with the population issue, but apparently it's USA. Okay, just put them in the fucking jail.
don't have to build homes because we can build prisons instead. You see, at a certain level, we can no longer afford to keep everyone happy. Misery is an essential component of stability, and those who refuse to leave gracefully will be re-educated by the state again and again and again, until they finally break. Perhaps this little game from Austria accidentally communicated something that it never intended. That, for the cogs and gears of modern society to keep spinning, it becomes inevitable that the fate and destiny of many men and women inside the system is to be consumed by the system. Or maybe they just didn't really think about it. I hope you...
This message is brought to you by American jail system. This is incredible, man. I like this whole element, right? We have to worry about the population control too now. I mean, we have to make some unethical choices in the end, right? Like if you want to control the population, everybody can't be happy, right? And who's not happy, I guess, becomes criminals, go to jail. So there you go. Problem solved. This is fucked up.
You've enjoyed my TED Talk on why we should reinstate capital punishment. Next time, child labor. Is it really labor if we don't pay?
God.
I give this game a very good score. What is it? I don't know. I've blurred it out. Do I recommend it? Yes. Should you buy it? No. In summary,
child labor, I guess it's similar as hiring intern. Right, it's not a free labor. It's just my intern. So something similar there, like. I don't know. It's not child labor, right? It's a school. We are teaching them things.
Hope one day we will reach universal suffrage, where the voices and opinions of men will be held equal to women. Until then, all we can do is spend our days driving around in John Deere tractors and bodybuild forever. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. I know I've been slow, but it should get faster. A warm thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos. This one, however, is free. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a grill to get back to.
Oh my god, seriously, the laptop thing, this is just ridiculous. I can't believe this is even happening. I thought that, case would melt over before. Because I had a laptop, I guess the first laptop I ever bought after playing with a PC. I don't know what happened to me. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just buy a laptop. It had a graphics card, right? A big one for the time. And I played the game. I played so many games that even with the sensor that it had, it was an Nvidia and Intel thing, right? It wasn't some cheap shit. But whatever sensor it had, it doesn't matter. Graphic card melted into the motherboard. I'm like, what the fuck? How did that even happen? So yeah, when it comes to laptop, right, heating is a massive issue. Now you remove the heat sensor, that's it. But how does this even surviving? I thought the case would melt before any of this. All right. Right, well, that was the Nason's review. Didn't see this coming. The game was incredible, right? The whole thing was fucking incredible. All the things you can do, all the things you have to, I guess, look out for. In the end, right, you have to worry about population control too. You have to worry about people and their educations, scientists with the bachelor degrees, PhDs and shit like that. This is incredible. I like that. The game is awesome. Obviously, whenever Seth reviews a game, you have to assume that it's gonna have an X factor, like I said before, like it's gonna have something special. So yeah. Right, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, check out the reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the cards, check out the cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.